Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to make this adorable little bunny quilt. I'm going to walk you through a progression of how I made mine. It is so much fun, and we're going to start with the pattern and pre-cutting each one of the blocks that make up this wall quilt. It could be a wall quilt, or it would make a fantastic centerpiece on a table for the spring. Don't you love these fabrics? They're from Marshall Dry Goods. If you haven't checked them out, you might want to do that. So once you have your fabrics ready, we're going to go ahead and cut our applique. There's tracing templates in the PDF of this pattern. So you could use your favorite fusible like Heat and Bond Light and use these tracing templates to prepare your applique. This pattern also comes with SVGs, so that's what I'm going to use with my brother Scan and Cut. I have my heart fabric on the mat, and I'm going to scan that in and move the hearts. The cutting machine makes cutting appliques so quick and exactly perfect. I love it. Now, here's a quick little tip. When you have different fabrics on your cutting mat, I like to run them through the cutting 2 times, just in case the thickness on the fabric is different. The second time is going to cut any little threads that are still connected and give you nice clean cuts. So I went through and cut out all of my applique all at one time and got it ready. And then I sat down with my pattern close by so I would know what all goes on which block. And I just fused all of my applique in place. I had so much fun. It took me about a day to make this quilt, and that was just taking my time, even fusing eyeballs to my pressing mat. Did you see that? But it was just so much fun, and I had the music on and the windows open, just enjoying the spring air before the pollen really sets in. And I have to use a glue stick because I fused my eyeballs to my pressing board and all the adhesive was gone. But yeah, I just went through each one of the different blocks and fused all the different pieces in place. The ears are tucked up underneath the bunny's head and got them all ready for some stitching at the sewing machine. What's awesome about all these blocks is that they are fat quarter friendly. And also the smaller blocks are layer cake friendly. Is that right? Layer cake? So here are all my blocks ready for some stitching. Now I am using a piece of medium weight cutaway stabilizer because I'm going to use a satin stitch on the edges of all my raw edge applique. I also have my open toe foot on because I think it allows me to see the edge of the applique so much easier. So I'll put here on the screen the different settings that I'm using, but I encourage you to try out different stitches in your machine, see what they do, see what happens when you adjust the settings on them, and just have fun exploring all the different stitches. You could use a zigzag stitch, a blanket stitch. Today I'm using a satin stitch. I like to stitch the parts of the applique that are tucked up under and work in like from lowest to the top layer.
Bunny's hop, oh what a sight, on a chicken farm, dancing in delight, with feathers flying, laughter in the air. They're chasing clocks without a single care. Bunny eyes twinkle, they spot a chick. A funny little game, they'll play their trick. Three bunnies on a chicken farm, so carefree, wobbling and giggling. Just wait and see. With every jump, they spread the joy. In feathers and fluff, they're each a ploy. One bunny bounces, doing flips all around, while the chickens stare confused on the ground. With a hop and a wiggle, they dance like mad. These three little bunnies, their fun makes me glad. Ooh, watch them frolic, silly sunny beams. In the barnyard chaos, they're living the dream. Three bunnies on a chicken farm, so carefree, waddling and giggling, just waiting to see. With every jump, they spread the joy. In feathers and fluff, they're each a toy. So here's to the bunnies and their chicken friends, on this farm of fun, the laughter never ends.
After all the stitching is done on all my blocks, I'm going to bring them over here and trim away right close to the applique all of the extra cutaway stabilizer. And it did a really great job of preventing shrinking of my blocks since I've already cut them to size, and I don't really have any puckering around my applique either. So once all of my blocks are all trimmed and ready to go, I'm going to start assembling this quilt top. So we're going to start by the 4 blocks on the left, and we're going to sew those and press the seams to the side. When those are done, we're going to move below the big bunny, and we're going to sew together these 2 smaller blocks. Press that seam to the side, and now we can join this section to the bottom of the big bunny. You're going to press that seam to the side as well, and you're going to come back with 2 big panels just like this. And now we can add the sashing that goes on the left, the right, and in the middle of this quilt. So I'm just going to lay that out just like this. And we're going to join the sashing to each one of these panels using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'll bring those and sew those and press the sashing seam towards the sashing. Now we have 2 sections just like this, and we can join those right in the middle. Once that's done, we only have 2 more seams left to finish this quilt top, and that's by adding the top and bottom sashing. Now after these sashings are on your quilt, you are almost done, except for adding the whiskers to the bunny. Now you could have done that when you were sewing down on your applique if you wanted shorter whiskers. But I want to bring mine all the way into the sashing, long whiskers. I think that's adorable. So I'm going to use my friction fine liner and just give myself an indication of where I'm going to add some whiskers. This will disappear if I add some heat to it, and it's just going to give me a little guide to go by. I'm going to use a satin stitch for these as well, and just bring those whiskers out right into the sashing. Now, because I'm using a satin stitch, again, I will use a cutaway stabilizer that's really going to support those whiskers and not pucker my fabric, right? And I'll bring this to the sewing machine and we'll sew a couple whiskers together. Still using my open toe foot because I can really see where I'm going. And you'll see I'm just going to extend that whisker right into the sashing. I think that's cute. Once I'm done sewing all of the different whiskers, I am going to trim up all the extra cutaway stabilizer. I like using some bigger sections to make sure everything is covered back there. But I will trim the majority of that away, and you'll see that here in just a second. But you'll see my quilt lays nice and flat. Isn't that just so dang adorable? It's the perfect size to display for the summer. It would be the perfect size for my dining room table. Isn't that such a good idea? But you'll see here on the back, I could do even more trimming of the cutaway, but I'm going to leave this, and that's going to be our little secret buried right in the middle of this quilt. And you'll see it's still super soft, but it all lays really nice and flat. Now, once you're at this stage, it's time to do some quilting, right? You're going to layer your quilt. I've decided to design a little bunny paw print pantograph. And so I just thought I'd share a little snippet of this section. In Inkscape, I drew out the little bunny paw prints like it's walking, right? And I just thought I'd show you the progression of making a pantograph to use with the long arm. I'll be stitching this on my Quilting Pro Series 24 machine when I can find some time to do that. But I've had a lot of interest in digitizing pantographs like this. And so I just thought I'd show like a little snippet and see, if there's a lot of interest, let me know in the comment section. Maybe I'll do more videos about this. But yep, here's me designing the pantograph I'm going to use to quilt this quilt. And I can't wait to do it. But y'all, here's the state of my room. I am so far behind. I'm working on a t-shirt quilt and it's consuming a majority of my time. You'll see my Mariner's Compass isn't even quilted yet. But that's okay, y'all. Stay tuned. I will share updates when I get this quilt done over on my Facebook. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope this has inspired you to get really creative. Happy spring, everybody. Bye.